the word of inclusive growth and enabling environment. And if you are confirmed as a Minister for Finance, what is this enabling environment that you intend to put forward? Because you'll be leading the economic team, you'll be the first one to advise Mr. President. What is this enabling environment, in your view, that you are going to? Because a lot of people have spent time on this because concern of us is the issue of the economy. What is this enabling environment that you'll be pushing forward?
His Excellency, Your Excellency, the Senate President, let me summarize it the following. I'll use bullet points in the interest of time. I think the first thing that creates an enabling environment is to have a clear vision for the kind of country we want to build and the kind of economy we want to be. So people understand the vision and buy into it, both locally and internationally. And I think as a government, we must do that. The second thing is to have the degree of macroeconomic stability, because when people are investing, they want to get a return. And one of the things that can scare investors is if they think there will be a lack of stability or inconsistency in policy and so on. To set a policy direction that people can work with and therefore plan with. The third thing that is needed to create an enabling environment, in my view, is, and it's simple but very important, is to signal that we are actually friendly to investors, that we like people to invest, and that we appreciate them investing. So some countries or some governments are considered investor friendly, some others are considered somewhat hostile. I believe as a country and as a government, we must do everything possible to signal that we are friendly to investors, and that if they have legitimate issues, they will be addressed, and they will be addressed responsively and transparently. And then the final thing I would say has to do with infrastructure. There is a lot of infrastructure that on the surface may not look like is an attractive investment for any one player in the economy to do. That's where the government comes in. I believe that by creating both the soft infrastructure, which is judiciary, and security, and the like, and the hard infrastructure, things like power that we talked about earlier, roads, rail, and all the other facilities, then people can come in and conduct their own business. That's what we mean by enabling environment. And I might add the final thing that we mean by enabling environment is where government itself is not a competitor. It's like being the referee and you're also playing. Because if the government is an active player in a field, it tends to, at times, I'm talking about in terms of conducting business, it could detract from being an enabling environment because you want to encourage people to play while you regulate them.
Okay, let me take the last few questions. Senator Baraba.
Recently, just a few days ago, almost in the last 1 year, there are so much appreciated. And that's because of the problems in terms of production of entities in the real sector, which have gone down by ticketing on the masses. But yet, a few days ago, His Royal Highness, Emir of Kashmir, came with a suggestion that the Naira should be divided further, and that the subsidy on petroleum should be removed by the minister. Now, after he did that suggestion, several sections of the country, particularly the labor and the civil society, tried more and said, this is, it's something that is not going to be accepted by them because it will further impoverish the already poor Nigerians. So, what is your take in a plain language? Don't go technical on this. Nigerians will, because it's a silent debate now going on. So Nigerians will know where you stand on these two sides of the debate. That is question number one. Number two, One of the major problems that has curtailed the, creating a robust, that curtailed the, our need to create a robust private sector in this country has been the issue of very, very high interest rates. Interest regime is not really palatable to our economy. It's about the highest, or it's one of the highest in the whole world, if not the highest. We understand, it's a fact, that when you look at the #1 capitalist nation of this on earth, that is America, it has been able to control its interest rate regime at all times, during turbulence period and even when it is in recession at any time. It has been using government-backed securities and discount rate to either increase liquidity or decrease liquidity whenever it wants to increase interest rate or decrease interest in the system. Why can't we? I'm coming, please. Now, why is it that we cannot control interest rate in this country in a way that it will encourage robust private sector in this country? If you become a minister, assuming you become a minister of finance, how will you advise the government to create an enabling, to create a investor-friendly interest rate regime in this country? Thank you.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Olaka Wogu. I represent the people of the Southeast Senatorial District in Rivers State. Let me join those who have congratulated you, Mr. Nominee, and to tell you that so far so good in your responses. My questions are these. At the outset of this administration, it was discovered that we couldn't account fully for our income as a country because we had so many accounts our funds, federal funds, were in. And it was therefore decided that as much as possible, these funds be consolidated. So efforts are being made to reduce the number of accounts and make it easier to track our funds. However, in doing this, a vehicle known as the TSA was brought into being. The Treasury Single Account basically is an attempt to put all funds on a page so that at an instant you know where our funds are. We have a Federal Ministry of Finance which can, by administrative directive, easily tell all the MDAs to do this. Put your funds where we want them to be. However, information available to us today, which is also out there in the public, is that a consultant firm has responsibility for ensuring this at a cost of 1% of collection. This firm has the duty of ensuring that the TSA functions. My simple calculation gives me this kind of figures. Our total spend is in the region of about 5 trillion naira as a country, at the federal level, about 5 trillion. 1% is about 50 billion naira. The Federal Ministry of Finance has a budget of less than 10 billion as a ministry. Therefore, if the Ministry of Finance does its job as it ought to, within the 10 billion, we can do this. In fact, they ought to do it. But we are spending about 50 billion to a private firm to account for money that is already in the system. Not money lost that we are trying to retrieve. Money in the system just to administratively put it where we want it to be. If you become a member of the Federal Executive Council, and as a finance guru, as you seem to let us believe, will you support that this program remains, or will you ask for a review in light of what it's costing us? 2, all the time we hear about, people talk about foreign investment, but I've also heard that at the end of the day, the task of growing your own economy strictly is largely the issue or the challenge of the people of that country. In the oil industry, with its falling prices, it's becoming more difficult to attract foreign investment. Is this not an opportunity, therefore, for us to, as much as possible, encourage local entrepreneurs, those who want to drill oil, those who want to refine petroleum products, those who want to play any role? Is this not an opportunity for us to open the space for such Nigerians who can source funds locally, develop capital locally, and become business operators? Would we always think that unless expatriates or people from other countries come into that industry, Nigerians, we think, are never qualified? We have people in the Niger Delta who are locally refining petroleum products, but all the time, our security forces are sent to go and dismantle their operations because they are considered substandard. Is this not an opportunity to grow these businesses and allow our people participation in this industry? Thank you.